What's up, YouTube? We're coming at you today with part 2 of the Miami Dolphins rebuild. We got it here on the trade screen. We are picking up right where we left off. We're going to continue to build up this roster real quick. We're going to play this for a little while. And we're going to see if we can get, hopefully, some games advanced here real quick. But we want to make sure we get the roster to the point where we want it to be before we advance. That's key. If you're trying to do a rebuild, if you're trying to play against your friends, trying to play against the AI, and you want to be competitive, you need to have your roster set from the beginning. You don't want to go halfway through the season, wait till the trade deadline to make something happen. Doing a deal or two at the deadline if you get somebody injured or you need something. That's a good way to go. It's not a bad thing to go ahead and make a deal later on if you need it, but you want the majority of your team to be set the way that you want it before you ever start anything, because you want your players to earn XP. So what we're going to go ahead and do here, we found, it took some time while I was gone to try and find a trade partner for a couple players. These guys want TJ McDonald. And so what we're going to do, they have a couple offensive linemen backed up here, but there's a good guy here, Dorian Johnson, that I know always progresses pretty well. He's a left guard, he's out of Pitt, only 23 years old, and he's got good stats. Only 83 strength, but his run block's a 79, and his other blocking stats are pretty much on par with where you would want a good rookie, plug-and-play starter to be. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to plug in this trade. TJ McDonald is better. And only a little bit older, so we're just going to go ahead and try and offer it straight up and see if they're interested. And they're not. So they are interested, but they're a little ways off. So what we're going to do here, we're going to see if there's a position that they want, and we're going to go ahead and either give them a position that they want, or we're going to move forward with giving them a draft pick in return. Throw them over the edge, and it does. So they're only giving up a 70 overall left guard. They're getting a better safety, a guy that their team actually needs. They'll start right away. And then we're also going to go ahead and give them a corner that probably is a backup player, or probably somebody that can go ahead and play in their lineup, and a future draft pick that could turn out to be a decent backup player for an AI team. They usually don't get great picks that late in the draft. So that's a good pickup there. We're going to go ahead. We're going to look out for a trade for Sitton now. Throws them over the edge. That works. That gives them a depth linebacker. It gives them the guard that they need that will protect their quarterback. And we all know for the 49ers that's vital right now. Having that good offensive lineman will help them big time. And we get the corner that we need in order to make things happen here for a while moving forward. And like I said, now we're going to look for a trade for Rashad Jones. I know that the Buccaneers have linebackers that I like. I think that probably trading for somebody like a Kendall Beckwith, we can get him for cheap. We probably don't have to give up all these players in order to do that. So what we'll see is if there's anybody else on this team that they'd be willing to part ways with. And I'd probably be looking for like a Chris Godwin to see if we can get him, even though he's a rookie. Or sorry, he's not a rookie, he's a second-year player. So I'm going to offer this, see if they'll take this. 2 young guys for an immediate impact safety and a young corner. And they will take that. So that's going to give us immediate upgrades at the linebacker position and at the wide receiver position. And now I think that all that we had left to do to sell off in terms of this team, we're going to scroll through and we'll see. I think it was Amendola, and that was about it. So safeties are going to be these 2 guys, and we'll sign backups. Corners, we know who our starting 3 are. Outside linebacker, him. Middle, McMillan, and left outside will be Beckwith. Anthony will be a good all-around backup. Defensive end, we're just going to keep Cameron Wake. It's not worth selling him off, in my opinion. D-tackle, we have a couple young guys here, which will be fine. Defensive end, we want to sell off Robert Quinn still. Left tackle, we're good. Left guard, center, right guard, and right tackle. We want to try and maybe pick up a guard that we could plug and play right now. Yeah, so Danny Amendola is the one that's left, the odd man out, and the guy that's about to get traded. So we're looking to see if they'll take this. And they will. So we'll go ahead, we'll go with that. And we're going to go through and just sort through and make sure that that's everybody sold off that we wanted to sell. So at the quarterback position, yep. Halfback, fullback, wide receiver, we're at 6 is where we want to be. Tight ends, we're good. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to move these guys. We'll make a decision later. We're probably going to have to cut a lineman to make roster room. So we're going to roll with these guys. Defensive line is good and where we want it to be. Left outside linebacker, middle linebacker. Yeah, and we're looking good. So I'm going to go ahead. Actually, I got to switch one of those safeties to strong. And we're going to try and figure out which one would be better at it. So in terms of speed, Minka's faster. So I'm thinking already, yep, and the strength from Malik Hooker's 76. I'm assuming that his hit power and tackling is going to be better. Yeah, so Malik Hooker's going to transition. He's actually got a couple points here. We're just going to spend it real quick. No big deal, and we're going to move him over to strong safety. And then we're going to go and we're going to sign a backup safety just because we had gotten rid of the majority of the rest of our squad back there, and we want to bring in somebody that can help rotate in because the game is so secondary heavy these days. I know I like Shamarko Thomas. Shamarko Thomas is always a good pickup, so that's what we're going to go with. And then free safety wise, nobody yet. We're just going to roll with it as is. We're going to go in, we're going to auto reorder the depth chart, move a couple guys up to make sure that they start in preseason. We're going to move Trevor Knight up, and we're actually going to move him up to the 2. In terms of halfback, we're going to roll like this. Fullback, as such. Godwin, Jakeem Grant, I think Isaiah Ford. We can roll just as is. Tight ends, going to be good. All line, we have them set already. D-end is fine. D-tackle, we wanted to make sure Godcho starts up there. We want Malik McDowell second. And we want Vincent Taylor, or sorry, yeah, Akeem Spence last. Left outside, yes indeed. We want Beckwith to start. Right outside, we want... Actually, which guy has more speed? Jerome Baker has more speed. So we're going to put him as the backup at each position. And in terms of middle linebacker, we will also set him as the backup, so that he gets playing time. Not that he will be good at that position, but be good there. At cornerback, we want the young guys to start. We're going to go with this. That rotation. Free safety, Minka. Strong safety, Malik. I don't know why it always does this right here where it puts the starting other safety at that position, but that's what we're good to go with. And we're going to go ahead, we're going to advance through preseason here. And like I said, very important, we want to go in, we play your challenge week 1. All you gotta do is get a gold medal, and then you come over here, put your gold medals on, you know, make sure you have your players selected that you want to progress. You're gonna sim these gold medals. It takes, you know, 30 seconds at most, and you know, you'll see the results right here of all this XP that you're gonna get for your entire team. You know, tons of XP, and all it takes is 10-15 minutes at the start of each franchise. Play those challenges until you get the gold medal, and then each week you can just sim it like that, and we can go ahead and move forward. The team's actually looking not terrible as is. I'm not aiming to win this season, but you know, you get a win in the preseason early, at least lets you know that your team is, you know, not totally destroyed. So 1-1. We're just going to go in again. We're going to go until the point where we have to cut people. We'll cut some people, see who the AI cuts, if there's anybody that can help our team, and then we'll go from there. Go ahead and advance one more time. We want to be on preseason week 4. That's when it'll make us make our cuts, and that's when other players will have gotten cut. Actually, I'm not sure if they will have gotten cut already or not, but we're going to go and look first thing, see if there's anybody there that we want. In terms of getting a halfback, we do still want a backup halfback. We're a couple weeks in, and a lot of these players aren't signed still. We're going to sort by age here, see if there's anybody that interests us. I want Jalen Samuels. I like him. He probably won't progress, but he's young, so he has a chance to be a long-term backup. So what we're also going to do, we're going to sign off somebody that can be a long-term backup here. We're going to sign Jeremy Hill. And we'll make a decision by the end of the season if we want to bring him back. But like I said, I'm an LSU fan, and I'm looking to probably bring in some LSU players as we go. It looks like there aren't a whole lot in terms of rookies yet. And look, this is what I'm talking about. Big tip: you want to sort by age. Duke Johnson Jr., who is actually a good rookie safety. We're going to sign him. We didn't want to sign him to the practice squad. We'll go ahead and fix that here in a minute. Signed active roster, and that's a guy that with quick potential that's going to develop alongside our starting safeties, and that's going to be huge for us, actually. I'm going to go ahead and get Jordan Whitehead. I might sign him to the practice squad, but a young guy that can help us there again. And if there's a corner that could help us, that would be fantastic. Carlton Davis. We're looking for somebody with a little bit more speed than that. I like Avonte Maddox. Anthony Averett. That's the type of guy we're looking for. 70 overall, 23 years old. Rookie out of Alabama. That's the type of guy that's going to help us right now. 94 speed. Quick potential. That's the type of guys that you want to be looking for in your franchises. You're going to want to be looking for young guys just like that can come in and help you, almost immediately. We're going to bring in Avonte Maddox to the practice squad. Hopefully he can progress in the future. And then we're also going to go and we're going to bring in one of those other, I think Corn Elder or Rashad Robinson. One of these guys could be good for us. I like speed. I want to check their coverage ability. Zone coverage, man coverage. It looks like Corn Elder is the more natural coverage guy. But I think I'm going to lean towards Rashad Robinson just because of the fact that he's an LSU guy, as I said. I don't like signing no-face players. If you guys are doing this, feel free to sign this 72 overall guy. I don't really have much interest in it. But if you guys are interested in it, go ahead. That's probably a good pickup for a team that's doing what I'm trying to do. It would probably be good for you guys in your leagues to go ahead and sign a guy like that. So we're looking for somebody with speed at the middle linebacker position. I'm thinking somebody like Jason Cabinda is a good one to sign to our practice squad just because he's a guy we like, a guy that I know I can play with. And then we could probably sign one of these two to a contract. Let me see what their strength is. Yeah, this guy would be more along the lines of what we want. We're going to sign him to the active roster to be a backup at the position. And then we're going to go to left outside linebacker and do the same thing. Andre Smith, 21 years old. That's the age you love to see at any position. 21 years old is exactly what you want. Let me check his strength and just make sure he's not going to get overpowered. And we're going to bring him in. We're going to bring him into the active roster. And then we'll go through O-line and one more, or D-line and then O-line. We'll see what we can do. Arden Key, another LSU guy, getting cut out here, but he's going to come to the squad. He's going to be a guy that will rotate in, and hopefully a lot of these players will progress, and next season, you know, we'll be up to a position we feel comfortable with. A lot of guys here that get cut from other teams. This is your week to shine. You know, if you're looking to build a good roster, week 4 of the preseason is where you want to be. That's like the biggest week for people that are good like me at building a team, building a roster. This is the most important week of the season right here. Not a whole lot in terms of O-line. I'm not even going to really scroll through it too much because we already know that we got players that we like. Tight end, I'm not sure if there'll be anybody here. Sometimes, yeah, I was going to say, like, Bucky Hodges here would be a good pickup if you wanted to get him. You know, actually, I'm going to pick him up because he has 65 run block, so he's going to come in and he's going to replace a couple of those tight ends real fast. Wide receiver, same thing. You can sort by rookies here. You know, there's nobody necessarily that I need. I'll sign Quandry to... I'm going to sign him to the roster and then move him to the practice squad. That's a way that you can get around, you know, stealing other people's players from their practice squad and actually putting them on yours. A lot of people don't know that that's a little workaround that you can do, where you can sign them and then put them on your practice squad, because initially if they're on another team's practice squad, you can't bring them to your practice squad. We looked through halfbacks already, and quarterbacks, there's not going to be anything there that wasn't there before. So we're going to look at our team. We got 15 players to cut, and then we're going to go ahead and get moving on. At quarterback, what we're going to do, we're going to move Trevor Knight to the practice squad. We're going to do exactly what I usually like to do here, and then we're going to cut Bryce Petty. You know, he's not going to get any better. We found the guy that we want that'll be the third position there. At halfback, we're going to leave it with these 4, and we're going to leave them all on the roster. At fullback, I think we're going to leave 2 fullbacks. I like to develop the fullbacks. It's an underrated position. Quandry Henderson, like I said, he's going to move to the practice squad. Did he have quick potential? No, normal. Okay. Practice squad for him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 receivers will be exactly what we want. And then in terms of tight end, we can actually go ahead and get rid of like Escobar, and we can go ahead and get rid of this rookie. We can actually send him down to the practice squad. And then that frees up a roster spot. In terms of offensive line, we're going to keep going here and see if there's anybody that we don't want. I think that I'm going to decide that we want to get rid of Brendel here, just because he's a 64 and a 25-year-old. And that will set us up at O-line how we want to be. In terms of defensive end, what do we got? You know, we have the backups that we want and the starters. At D-tackle, we're going to go ahead and just release Akeem Spence. I know that we have more people here than we need. So we're going to release Akeem Spence. And then we're probably also going to release like Jordan Phillips. And we're going to run with the guys that are behind him. We're going to run with these 4. And they'll rotate in at defensive end as well. Andre Smith. We got lots of linebacker help here now, so we can get rid of... Oh, I didn't know I could move him to the practice squad. That works for me. Quentin Poling. We're going to go ahead and move him to the practice squad. Outside linebacker. We have more than enough players here. So I think Andre Smith is going to be a practice squad player. Stephen Anthony is going to move to middle linebacker, which is where his traditional position was until the Dolphins messed him up and decided to make him a outside linebacker. In terms of quarterback corners, we're going to have too many. You want 5. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and we got to decide our 5th guy. It's not going to be McTire. We can move him to the practice squad. Don't hope he stays there. Anybody over a 70 usually gets signed off of your practice squad if they're good. So don't expect to move a bunch of players to your practice squad and hide them there. It's just not going to happen. And it looks like our practice squad is full. We're going to see we need to cut 2 players. So we're gonna fix our practice squad here. Find 1 player that we don't really want on the practice squad, and that's going to be him. I actually wanted to release him. And then is there anybody else pulling? We'll get rid of you, and we're gonna move 2 guys to the practice squad from our team, because mostly everybody here that we want to hang on to. And we're gonna move Whitehead to practice squad, and then we're gonna move probably that left outside linebacker. No, we already moved him, didn't we? Or no, we'll move Micah Kaiser to practice squad. And that will set us up exactly how we want to be, ready to go into the season. We're going to go ahead and do our training, put in the same thing as usual, get our training going. It can be a good idea it depends on what you really want to do with your franchise. If you really want to increase the overalls of your, certain players, you can just stick with the same people over and over and over again if you want to make them like, your key players, or you can spread this around. I find it most effective to just stick with certain players that you want to upgrade and just keep pushing the XP on those players. We're up to 65 million in funds, which will give us money to be able to, bring people in the off season, which is always a key part of a rebuild like this. But what we're going to go ahead and do here, we're going to go ahead and go to week 1. We will come back to you in episode 2. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the team real quick here as we hit week 1. Yeah, and see, they signed that tight end who's a 69, which, is no big deal to me. I'm not worried about the tight end position, but this is how our team stacks up on the rebuild. We started as a 75 overall, trading away a bunch of our big name players like Rashad Jones, Danny Amendola. We really didn't drop down too much. We dropped down to a 73, and that's necessary because we got younger, and next year we're going to be up into the 80s, if not 90s, depending on how we do our moves and how we progress our players. So here's your offensive line, not bad. The tight ends, your wide receivers. We traded for Chris Godwin, who's going to be a huge slot receiver. Kenyon Drake's still here. We're going to roll with Tannehill for now. And then on defense, this is a big project. 2 young safeties in Malik Hooker and Minka Fitzpatrick. Our outside linebackers and our middle linebackers are all young. Beckwith, Bowser, and McMillan, super young. And our D-line, again, is also super young, with corners all young as well. So we're going to go ahead and leave it off there for the day. Have a good day. I'll be back to you guys later, probably with part 3 of the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, go check out my Let's Talk video where we talk about a bunch of different very important issues and topics that are relevant to today. And then also go ahead and check out my other gaming series. I put up some Rainbow Six Siege gameplay. And so we got a bunch of gameplay going up on the channel real fast here within the past couple days. I'm going to keep coming at you with all the gameplay that I possibly can. So have a good day, guys.